One of the periodic maintenance tasks on these cars is to go around with the grease gun. Usually about every 1,000 miles, but as sometimes that distance can be covered over a short period of time, a couple of weeks, you can use your discretion as to when it's done. So it's about 1,000 miles, or certainly twice a year. And one of the jobs you can do is, before you take the wheel off, check for dragging brakes. This is dragging ever so slightly, so I shall slacken those off. Got a handy hole in the wheel there to reach the adjuster, if that's lined up with the hole in the drum, and I don't think it is. But another important job, which should be done with the greasing, is to grip the wheel top and bottom and rock it back and forth, and that will show up any play in the front suspension or the wheel bearing. Now this is rocking slightly, although I have loosened the wheel nuts, so it could well be that. So I'll test it again afterwards when I've tightened the wheel nuts. Obviously you do this test with the wheel nuts tight, but this is just for demonstration. You may be able to see this. You can certainly hear it. There is movement there. So I'm going to take the wheel off. I'll lower it first so I can undo the nuts. I've repurposed bike cam for this job, so I'll just make sure they're slack, then I can jack the car up again. I'm doing this under the suspension because the suspension is a very long travel. You do have to be careful where you jack a car up, of course. This is the original wheel brace. Five stud wheel. Pretty robust. They were generally over-engineered. So I'll get the wheel out of the way, and as you can see, this hasn't been touched for quite some time. So first thing I'm going to do is clean the area. There's one of the residents. There's been a spider in every single wheel hubcap. Not too happy about being moved on, but such is life. So you have to keep on top of the maintenance with these old cars, because if you want them to last, you need to keep on top of the maintenance, the greasing. That's important, because they could be heavy on kingpins, you know, and front suspension. A lot of 50s cars were. This one actually seems okay so far. There's actually very little play lost motion in the steering wheel and the actual road wheels. I can turn the steering wheel and the road wheels turn instantly, which is a good thing. Having said that, I don't know what's been done to the car over the last few decades, you know, the last 40 or 50 years, and it's 15 owners, so it may be, given the mileage, 100,000 miles, it may have had some work done to the front. You know, in the 70s or something, you might have had a front end rebuild. I don't know, I'll never know. But, we'll just get this camera set up again. You can also rock the brake drum, and I can feel, well, something is rocking there. It's a two-person job, really. You really need an assistant to rock the wheel while you look round the back to see if there is any movement. Obviously, I've just noticed a drum retaining screw is missing, so that's not very good, but easily replaced. Drum's in good nick. No score marks there. Right, that's one of the first problems. They should not be loose. And the springs are actually in the farthest away holes. So that's not right at all. The brake shoes should not be loose. Oh, and by the way, don't breathe this dust in, because it's likely to be containing asbestos. For that reason, never ever blow dust out of the drums. Always wash it away. But I'll bring you in to see. There's plenty, I mean, the massive linings them, I think they're 9-inch drums, but huge, thick linings there. This wasn't what I expected to find, you know, this looseness. That's a good sign though. AP, Lockheed that is. So the proper wheel cylinders, they'll rebuild nicely. There are no leaks. You should check for leaks from the brake. The wheel cylinders, leakage of brake fluid is a bad sign, but those will rebuild nicely. I suspect 1 or 2 are seized through standing, so I've got to go through the entire braking system anyway. Flexi hose looks alright though, so that's good. I'll have to consult the book about this, because that's not very good at all. In fact, it's bloody no good at all. There doesn't feel to be any play there in the hub. This is all, of course, just for demonstration purposes. You really do need to rock it with the wheel on to get the leverage on it. Although moving the hub, there's no evidence of play, and it's smooth and quiet to turn. That's the hubcap there, the proper hubcap. They need packing with grease, removing them and repacking with grease every so often. Not as often as doing the grease nipples though, which is what I'm going to do now. There's the oil filter, which I will also need to be changing. There's the clutch slave cylinder, the overdrive unit there, and gearbox. I will be getting this car up on the ramps to examine underneath, so that'll be coming up. But this, I just wanted to show you some of the things that do need doing on a regular basis with old cars. So I am now going to get the grease gun and give it a going over. You want 2 rags really, because it is a messy job, and you should clean the wipe the grease nipple before you apply the grease gun. And you use lithium based grease for this, you know, Castrolese or whatever it's called now, anything from the motor factors really. And I just give a couple of strokes, usually no more than 4. Wipe off the excess. You don't want too much in there, because having too much is sometimes as bad or worse than not enough. So this is the track rod end. Just rearrange. It's a very messy job. Just beware of grease also coming out from the nipple, which means the grease gun isn't properly seated. Also check the track rod end rubber boots. They should be clipped into place. There should be a clip there on this groove on the rubber to stop dirt getting in. That'll want seeing to. In fact, probably wants replacement completely. There's another one. There's just loads of them on these old cars. But it does keep them going for a lot longer. I usually like to do as well is just pump in enough until you see it oozing out. It's hard to see on this one, but usually for, you know, about 4 strokes will do it. As I say, you don't want to go mad with the grease. A couple of strokes and then wipe the area clean after you've done and move on to the next one. So there it is, the front end. A few things to look for during maintenance. You're better off doing it yourself, because you know, you can see exactly with your own eyes then, and you know exactly what's been done. You know there are no points being missed on the car, and it also gives you a good idea of the general condition of the car, the structure, etc. And as I said before, the main superstructure on this is pretty good. So that's it for this one. I am gonna sort these brakes out though. That is one thing that needs doing. And the tool kit, well, the remains of the tool kit was up here. There should be a jack, not that scissor jack, it was more of a pillar jack that engaged. I think there were some points here at the back. I think this was here where it goes, and you jack it up there, one at each corner. So really I could do to find the right jack for it, but yeah, that's it. Don't forget to grease the handbrake cables, prop shaft, etc. But all that is detailed within the handbook, because they had a very good lubrication chart in them. The brake drum, check for signs of scoring. You can use your fingernail, that's fine. As I say, there's plenty left on those brake shoes. The linings are perfect. They should be replaced really before they wear down to the rivets. I don't often have to replace them because I rarely use the brakes. As any, you know, good driver shouldn't really. But yeah, that's it for this one, and next time I think I'll be looking underneath, and I've just noticed that, which isn't good.